All right, so hello everyone and welcome to yet another PTC Talks where we are excited today by having Pushkar Kulkarni from Cognizant for an interesting and highly relevant session on innovation in uncertain times. And by the way, a huge congratulations to Cognizant for receiving the PTC Award as a System Integrator of the Year in Europe and emerging markets in the PTC LoveWorks event in Boston 2 weeks ago. So, my name is Torben Pilsen, and I'm the Alliance Manager for PTC in the Nordics, and we are running all these webinars on Fridays every week, same time, where we invite customers and partners for some inspiration on digital transformation to see what is possible and how to make things happen. And all the past webinars have been recorded and are to be found on the registration site. The agenda for today is first a very quick overview of PTC by my colleague Carl on the customer success team, and then Pushkar will run the show by introducing himself and touch base on a few challenges, how to address these, and then explain some of the business outcomes. And at the end, we are also having a Q&A session, so please keep your questions to the end, or you could also put them in the chat. We will pick them up during the Q&A. Now over to you, Carl.
Great, thank you, Torbjörn. So PTC is an international software company with headquarters based in Boston. We're developing software mainly for manufacturing companies since 1985. We offer tools for the digital transformation, such as CAD for design, PLM for managing data, IoT to connect products or manufacturing operations, and augmented reality to visualize and interact with the digital thread. To you, Pushkar.
Thank you. Thank you, PTC team, for having me today. Quick introduction. My name is Pushkar. I'm based out of Gothenburg, Sweden. And I take care of manufacturing and logistics industry segment for Cognizant from consulting perspective. It is quite interesting to see in last 20 years when I have associated with this industry, the changes which are coming in and the way they are managing it and being part of that journey of transformation with some of the Fortune 500 companies. So that is in a nutshell. To go over quickly with this interesting topic is the first question comes in mind is when we talk about uncertainty, which are those particular factors or what is the level of that uncertainty that industry is looking at large? Definitely the various sectors within the manufacturing, they are seeing uncertainty at the level of macroeconomics. So because of the pandemic and post-pandemic effects and also war and geopolitical tensions and war-like situations, there are multiple challenges that they see in terms of energy crisis, energy scarcity, also the supply disruptions, also and looking at certain issues related to the inflation. Also during that particular change, another thing which is coming up is about the expectations from the customers. And as a B2C scenario is substantially giving a better personalized, optimized experience for the customers. They are looking at B2B buyers also, they are expecting that kind of level of experience coming through. So it is not just products and services, but it is the experience that counts. And that is where quite a good amount of seamless transparency that is required for the organizations to maintain that experience at the individual level. Another aspect which is coming in is about the level of agility that is required in the environment today. Because of the continuous change which is happening and also the disruptions which are coming in many cases it is not expected with the conventional understanding, we can say, and that is where to bring that resiliency back into the business, what sort of visibility that they need to have. And that is where the discussions coming around getting the supply chain back on the drawing board to look at how this transparency can be brought in across the value chain. And fourth dimension that we see while talking to our key clients and across the industry is about the sustainability and how that is getting adopted. There is a focus on circular economy, though by and large, organizations do understand that how circular economy can be adopted up to certain extent, where it is getting converted into the sustainability development goals. But beyond than that, when it comes to detailed how part of it, that is where the challenge starts coming in. So in and all, when we look at certain forces and whether it is reflecting across other industry segments, that is where Cognizant has done one survey along with ESI Thought Lab, and which is reflecting that it is pulling many of the leaders to go from the strategy to business continuity, or it is impacting their performance. Now, the next step, what we see is that how industry is looking at it and what sort of actions naturally are being taken. And when we are handling those digital transformation journeys, we see that there is a continuous focus which is coming on reprioritizing the investments and strategic capabilities. So which has been developed over the past that is getting revisited. One is specifically about ways of having a greater resiliency, as we discussed on the earlier point. Then the second is developing the personalized and on-demand experience. Third is there is a focus on going towards more of a as a service model, whether it is a product as a service or a solution as a service. Then bringing to more efficient and automated processes. That is the fourth area that is being looked into. And last but not least is the sustainability. While these actions are being taken, one of the factor which becomes like a positive glue in this is the innovation. Then the question comes is that why innovation and why we are talking of it today also. And while we say that innovation is necessary when the situation guarantees that there is a growth, but the surveys do tell a different story. In many cases, whenever there is a anticipation of the shrinkage of the economy or the recessionary factors are going to come in, then conventional wisdom actually forces us to look at how to reduce the cost. Where are the leakages? How can I improve my processes so that I can have the lowest total cost of operations? But same time, it reduces the capability of the organization whenever the growth is going to rebound, and that resiliency is taken away in certain cases. Then there are certain organizations which focus on growth. So they definitely get the advantage for getting ready for the next wave after the recessionary kind of or shrinkage of the economy kind of situations come in and they pass away. But one definite part that seen in this slide on the right hand side, where this is coming from McKinsey survey, which was done recently for the 5,000 companies, top companies in Europe and North America, which tells about if growth and cost both are looked into, then the top performers are having a very high level of leverage against their competitors and peers. And that is where these two dimensions which come in for the leveraging the innovation, if we look at it, what do they do differently is that from the culmination of the journeys, what they have done so far, there are four dimensions which come in. One is definitely looking at the new products and processes. So innovation helps organizations to look at their existing products, look at the processes, look at the customer requirements and the market requirements which are getting changed, and what is that thing differently done. And it is the questioning again. So for example, if we look at a case in the beer manufacturing, so beer manufacturing requires quite a good amount of carbon dioxide for the carbonation. And this carbonation happens in the case of where the fertilizers and sugar industry, where the ethylene recoveries are happening, they create this carbon dioxide and which is being used by the beer manufacturers. But because of the recent energy crisis and the prices, some of these businesses are turning down their switches and capacities, and because of which there is a lesser and lesser availability in the market about the carbon dioxide. So small brewers, they had taken a decision to stop the production because it is an integral part of their manufacturing, whereas some of them had gone to a completely innovative way for developing the products and processes. One is looking at the nitrogen, how that can be used for the carbonation, or the same effect for getting the fuzz, or it is like recovery from their existing malting process, which is actually releasing the carbon dioxide during that process and then recovering it. And over the period in 1 year, there are few companies which are promoting those recoveries in a such a way that they are becoming self-sufficient in carbon dioxide. So having that innovation actually forces in these tough times also to have the better angle towards the business. Secondly, it is like investing or the revisiting the new business models. And many companies are looking at it in a perspective about what are their downstream businesses are and where they can actually influence. One of the examples that definitely I can quote from one of our customers is Grundfos, a pump manufacturing giant. And they had started their journey long back with the selling pumps, then moving on to selling the pumps and services along with that. And then they moved on to utilizing the digital models and connected assets methodology. They had gone to pump as a service. And then now, if we look at it, the kind of solutions they are developing, which is quite disruptive, is the water as a service. So it is encompassing their sphere of influence to such a level that they can get integrated with the products and services which were being sold earlier, how these are getting used in the downstream business. And that is where actually innovation comes in quite handy. Then there are diversifications that we see. The business goes beyond the core competence. And here we can see mainly in certain industries like mobility providers, they had gone ahead for delivering the food items also, or in certain cases, grocery items. So it is looking at the adjacencies about their core competencies and how to go one step further. Like electric vehicle manufacturers are looking at certain scenarios where they can use as a battery as a service or battery swapping as a uh, additional services, and which is also having a lucrative business for them. And then fourth part, while doing this, is coming from the fostering the new partnerships. So like innovation, there is a necessary ingredient which comes in that not everything can be done within own premises, but there has to be a partnerships or the ecosystem which can propel the innovation. And that is where Cognizant or PTC like companies come in who are focusing on certain dimensions, and they are working with multiple clients across the region who can bring in the best practices and also the transformative decisions that are being done in other organizations and how those things can be brought in for the innovative spirit. This question used to come to Cognizant quite often that how can you help your industry in this in a better way? And we had started looking at it since 2008 when the first recession we had seen it is impacting many of the sectors significantly. And that is where we had kept this manufacturing innovation framework. So while we say that this is a manufacturing innovation framework, it is extended across other industry segments too, like retail. And key four dimensions which are coming in is definitely there is a engine that can facilitate for continuous innovation. So it is bringing the bottoms up, looking at the day-to-day work and also getting those particular ideas to the level where it can go from gig and to guild economy and develop certain innovative products, services, tools, or the experiences going further. Then there is another dimension also that we bring in from Cognizant side is the collaborative innovation, where we are having a large scale digital ecosystem where there are hundreds of alliances, partners like BTC. And we work together in accordance with the way industry is moving and same time on the specific challenges of the industry that they are looking at. And this is also gets extended with the academia across the world, where we are working with the top-notch universities on certain research projects. So that falls into the what is the future is going to look like in coming 10 years, and bringing those insights into the innovation framework. And then also there is one more dimension that is very crucial, is looking at the customer innovation. So this is actually bringing the digital journeys for that specific companies, also the sort of problems that they are looking at it, also from the consulting side, what sort of changes that they need to do, also looking at how those changes can be managed. So all this together comes and fits so nicely that we can enable those strategic capabilities which are required for the innovation to happen. That is possible. And fourth dimension is about the Industry 4.0, where Cognizant is substantially investing into bringing the perspective on how the factories of the future would look like, how the paperless manufacturing will look like. Also, when it comes to digital manufacturing, what does that mean in simplistic way, and how that can be implemented. So the natural question comes to mind of some of the customers is that where can we involve you, and whether innovation can it happen as a process, or how it can start the journey wherever we are from there onwards, how can you help us. And for this is a snapshot of what we do in 3 stages, like research, ideate, and build. It is right from the first point of view creation for that industry or for that customer, and then taking it to last stage of actually building the test pilots. So it is completely from the ideation standpoint to building something in an incubation lab, showcasing it to the customer, and also developing the business case along with them so that they take the guided and more knowledgeable decisions about which innovations that they can go ahead and take it in the commercial aspect. There is one video that I would definitely like to go through, and this is actually Cognizant's investment towards looking at the industry problems and how we can solve. So give me a couple of seconds when I initiate this. This particular use case that we had seen in multiple conversations with the customers, that drone technology is being used substantially in various segments. And for these segments, what are the use that can be done in a more simplistic way, and what are the benefits that we can get? To visualize the effect of drone in manufacturing and also in other industries, this one case that we had developed specifically in the Cognizant premises to take care of the solar panels and how the drone-based inspection can be done. It is not only the use for this, but definitely there is a wide array of how drones can be used depending on the types of drones that we deploy. Here it is the case of predictive maintenance by using the drones. And this is not the animated one, but this is the actual footage that we have received by doing this drone inspection multiple times. And this is the remote monitoring dashboard, which is AI enabled, that we have developed specifically to look at certain parameters related to the solar panel. Here in this case, it is telling that there are less number of active number of arrays, and there is a certain panels which are not providing the required electricity. So the next step comes is that there needs to be a visual inspection, and then to assign it to one particular drone to get onto that flight route. Here now the drone has been selected specifically for this category 3, and then it will go ahead for the evaluation of the actual scenario. The anomalies what we are seeing here, these were specifically created with to check whether drones are able to capture it and report it back. Now here we can see that energy drop has been reported in, and two critical issues are there. And then further it can link to create the maintenance routine for this particular case. Also, it will direct the report about where the anomalies were seen and the impact of those anomalies on the power generation. And similar to this, we are having a huge repository of emerging technologies and how that can be used for specific use cases, how that would be extended to a large scale, and also bringing to the next level about more intricate and complex problems within premises, outside premises that can be done in manufacturing. So it is uh, this case was related to the drones. Similar cases are for 3D printing, also the AI, ChatGPT, and so on. As Tobion said, we are the Platinum PTC partner and very proud about having the 2023 award for global recognition from PTC at Boston. With PTC, our relationship has gone like in multiple areas. It is not only related to the strategic relationship for the go-to-market, but it we are developing certain solution frameworks, also the trainings and certain next level scenarios like digital PLM or smart manufacturing or augmented reality field for the field services, which can help the industry to look at in a more tangible way how the new solutions will look like and how the technology will be able to help. So I take a pause here and open for any questions. Tobion, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, first of all, I mean, thanks a lot, Pushkar, for sharing all these, I mean, interesting insights around this very, I mean, hot topic. So, as you said, I mean, now over to you in the audience. I mean, if you have any questions, raise your hand or, I mean, put it in the chat and we will read the questions that you might have. But I think, I mean, I had one question also here already. What are the challenges your customers share in adopting innovation, or what do you see yourself in this context?
Thank you, Tobion. This is quite interesting because when we are talking to various customers, one of the key observations that we are having is that there are multiple challenges that they see while they understand how the innovation can be done at the product level. But the main challenge comes is from the change management. So organizational change, especially from not only from the resistance per se for getting to know about unknowns in the day-to-day work what they are doing, but it is more to do on how to have the collaboration on the innovation front. Also, they get the challenges related to certain how to evaluate the relevancy of the ideas. Also, the challenges related to how to evaluate the customer centricity or the market centricity for the innovation.
Thanks a lot. What would be the role of technology to speed up innovation, do you think?
Technology definitely helps. And as we are seeing that there is more and more maturity which is coming in the way digital adoption is happening. When we look at the new businesses and especially creating certain experiences, 5G and AI, they are coming quite in a strong position to help us to understand how this can be shaping up. So recent surveys are talking about in coming 5 years or so, there would be nearly 50% of the revenue would be coming from the new businesses and services. When that is required, actually AI helps them to guide how these businesses can be evaluated, that needs to be done. Similarly, when it comes to product development, because it is almost the world is going towards and aiming for getting into the real-time kind of scenarios, that is where the 3D printing or digital twins, which are helping the industry to cut down on the product development side of the cost. And when we were talking about having the earlier one facelift project for the automotive, it used to take 5 years. Now it has cut down to 2 years, and now it is coming to 12 months. That is the automotive industry is looking for. Now this entire shift has happened because of the digital twin and digital threads, what they are using and able to test it in the software environment. So that brings a lot of power of using the digital technologies. And one definitely thing that I would add is the world is evolving more and more about the experience. And that is where the AR, VR, or mixed reality or XR that we talk about, that technology is actually bringing for upskilling or also creating a better human experiences.
Thanks a lot for a good answer. We had one question also in the chat here. How do you see companies addressing the challenges of funding for innovation during times of recession and inflation?
But that is a fantastic question. And actually, this is the particular thing that comes up again and again, where we can have the conversations about the self-funding kind of projects. So where the automation can bring in certain cost optimizations can be done. And it starts the journey about how the cost structures are there in the existing landscape, where it can be improved, and same time looking at in short term and medium term, where they can fund it so that they can get the immediate benefits. So innovation is looked at into a long-term value creation, but same time, the cost optimization is seen in that way. One point definitely comes to my mind is because of the accessibility of the digital technology now, the development of prototypes and having the incubation of the innovation ideas because of the system integrators like us or the companies like PTC, it becomes very easy for having those testing of innovative ideas at a very minimal cost. And then it takes to the next level.
Thanks a lot. Also, we had one question here. I mean, how can organizations measure the effectiveness of innovation in terms of, return of investments and, what kind of, KPIs could be relevant, to measure success?
Yeah, that is quite a trick, to be honest, for sure, because in many cases, the KPIs, whenever we look at for the innovation side, the normal answer from multiple leaders in the organization is that if we start measuring the innovation, are we not killing the creativity? And then they land up into certain vanity KPIs, like normally the organization is looking for is like profitability or cost of operations or number of ideas generated, number of ideas converted, that kind of thing. But in our mind, we need to have something related to actionable KPIs for innovation. So which talks about like from research and development to the product conversion, what is the success rate? Or what is the conversion rate from ideas to margins? So these KPIs actually hint towards where we want to take it and how aggressively we want to have that innovation commercialized.
Thanks, Rob. I think we have some time for the last question, at least here on VESA. How do you take into account the increasing influence of human factors in innovation?
Yes, so human factor definitely is a prime important, and as we speak, Industry 5.0 is also talking about bringing the human back into the center of the conversation, and not only in the individual like a blue collar, but society, customer, everything as a whole. When innovation is happening, definitely to sustain that innovation, also having the creativity from that, having the experience, what the customers are looking at it from the, we can say from the psychological reasons, and also to have that innovation getting commercialized, that expansion that requires the human capital getting invested into it. Definitely, technology can help in bringing certain insights from the data analysis, data mining, process mining, these kind of areas. But to select it from the perspective of how humans are experiencing for that particular new product or service or functionality, that is the work that humans would be required to do. And training, reskilling, upskilling, that is the area where industries normally go for looking at the innovation quotient going high.
Thanks. We actually have one last question here. I think it's a good one. How to change the minds of the end users to adopt the new technology like augmented reality?
Yeah, so when we are having the end users and in the earlier slide, when I was touching upon the manufacturing innovation framework, we look at one key dimension about how to capture the voice of customer and how can we analyze it. So it would be a customer and end consumer, understanding their journey, their touch points, what are their expectations, and calibrate the overall product and service that we are developing in tune with them. That is more important. And that is where overall customer or human journey. So when we are talking about certain initiatives related to the employee experience, then it comes to the employees within the companies. Their experience becomes more important, and how we cater to that and what is their reflection. So that is a calibration that is required during this entire process. And there are anonymous surveys that Cognizant has done after developing certain tools in the incubation labs.
Right. Thanks a lot, and time is unfortunately running out. So many thanks everyone for joining, and of course, a special thanks to you, Pushkar. If you might have any, additional questions, you have the Pushkar's contact details here with his emails, and you could also stay a little bit more maybe on the chat. If you have any further questions right now. So hope to see you back already next week at the PTC Talks about Metaverse, the potential of revolutionize workforce training. So stay tuned for that. And with that, I wish you a fantastic weekend, everyone. So see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.